Hello, this is Curtis Cost, as you all know, and I'm here with Rene Mitchell, who's running for the state assembly in District 5 in Brooklyn. And we
District
have some guests.
45.
What?
District 45.
45, my mistake, 45. And we're going to go over some really controversial things that's taking place as she's trying to um, run her campaign. But first, I just want to go around the room with some of the other people here that can introduce themselves. Renee, just briefly introduce yourself, please.
My name is Rene Mitchell, and I am the candidate for State Assembly District 45 in Brooklyn.
Fantastic. Jerice, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing. You got to unmute yourself.
My name is Sharice Ballard Helialdo. I am a community organizer. I am also presently at this time staying in Bronxville,
I can't hear you. Said
Brooklyn.
you're saying in Bronxville. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you muted yourself for a moment. Okay, great, thank you. And uh, uh, Jimmy,
Glenn.
Glenn.
Hi, Curtis.
Hi.
My name is Glenn Tamir. I'm a friend of Rene Mitchell's. I have a great deal of respect for her. I think she's going to make an amazing assemblywoman, and she's, the type of person that is very rare, and I'm really excited to be here to support her. I met Rene during the campaign for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for president. I was an elector for the state of Massachusetts, and I also was the campaign director in Berkshire County, which is in western Massachusetts, and big supporter of MAHA movement, medical freedom.
Okay,
And,
fantastic.
It's great to be in this room with everybody. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, why don't we just get right to it? Renee, can you tell us a little bit about your campaign, why you've decided to run, and some of the obstacles that are being placed in your way in this process?
Okay. As I said before, my name is Rene Mitchell, and I'm running for State Assembly in District 45. The reason why I chose to run is because a large portion of District 45 is being neglected. I went to two buildings. Okay, one was 3191 and 3205 Emmons Avenue. And what I saw there, okay, made me want to cry. Okay, it was a mixed building with seniors, okay, with 57 units in both of these apartment buildings from the first floor to the seventh floor. And these people were living in unhumane, unlivable conditions. I mean, no electricity, no gas, okay, mold, okay, lead, busted pipes, and big, gigantic rats. And they've been living like this for a certain amount of years. And they extended, okay, all of their assets of connecting with elected officials and government offices, and everybody was on deaf ear. Even my opponent, okay, turned a blind eye to helping these people and these seniors. Then a couple of miles down, the same thing in Notion houses, Sheepshead Bay houses, Marlboro houses, which my opponent covered. People are living in unhumane, livable conditions. Then there's no resources. There's no programs for the seniors. There's no programs, okay, for the children and the young teens. And then, okay, they got a billboard up disgracing the homeless people and saying no homeless shelters. Okay, so in other words, if there's no homeless shelter, what is the alternative to helping people that need a lift up on drug addiction, mental health, or homelessness? So when I seen that, and I seen that these people are just there lining their pockets and gaslighting people for a vote, that's when I decided to run and try to do something to help these people.
Absolutely fantastic. And so, what's been your experience so far in this process? First, can you give us some idea of the level of enthusiasm you're finding from people that you're campaigning with? I mean, campaigning to, and
Well,
what's been the opposition?
the people that I'm getting is a lot of seniors. I've been in a lot of senior places, speaking engagements. I've been inside NYCHA projects. Okay, and to talk to business owners. I've talked to teens, and a lot of people want change. A lot of people want something different. A lot of people are tired of being gaslight, and lot of people want better for themselves, their children, and their families. Okay,
Okay.
but once I started running and I started mobilizing the community, my opponents, I called them grifters. I called them clans. Okay. The first incident of voter suppression that I received with them is that they had somebody park in front of my house, wait till I came out my building, and followed me while I was collecting signatures. Then they had somebody send me a text, stating that they're going to pay this person $5,000 to do a political hit job on me. I guess that's like a political smear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The guy, Derek Miles, turned it down. Then they had a lawyer, contact me. Okay, I guess he's one of their handlers, Jimmy Wagner, for the Republican Club. And he tried to get me to divert my run for assembly and run for Congress. And I said, no. And then he tried to get me to step down and get on the guy's payroll. And I said, no. And then he said that, well, they're going to challenge my signatures. I said, well, bring all the smoke. Okay. So then when he told me that, I started preparing myself. I said, okay, I know how they did this with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They sent implants inside his campaign. They sent saboteurs. Okay. And I remember when I was collecting signatures for him, that we had to throw away 30,000 signatures because they were fraudulent. Okay. And they were using any type of technique to remove him from office too, because they felt like he was a threat, like they feel I am a threat. Okay. So what I did was I collected my own signatures by myself, 1,505 signatures. Okay. Numbered it from 1 to 301 pages, binded it. Okay. And made sure that all of my signatures, the constituents signed it, and I left it just the way they signed it and bind it like that. So that way they couldn't touch it. So they came after me for a cover sheet. Okay, they said, on the cover sheet that my name doesn't match the cover sheet of the certificate of acceptance letter, which is a clerical error. And I was on the ballot because they sent me a letter saying that my name was going to be put in Chinese. And then 3 days later, they had a special hearing. Okay. And in this special hearing, they said that my name on my cover sheet doesn't match the name on my letter of certificate. So that's why they're going to remove me, from the ballot. Now, meantime, when everybody goes in to look at this, it's no minutes of a hearing. It's no public records of a hearing or any reason why they removed me off the ballot, just my name crossed. Okay. So right there, you can tell that some backroom deal was made between the opponents and the Board of Election.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I went into court and I filed the Article 78. And right now I'm waiting for the decision from the Article 78. But if he doesn't rule in my favor, then I'm going to go to the appellate court and I'm going to launch a mass write-in campaign, which I'm doing that already on the ground. But it's also a conflict of interest And I found it very suspicious that the day that I went to court for my Article 78, okay, and I sued the Board of Election, my same opponents was in court for massive signature fraud. Both opponents, Joey Sambo and Michael Notovic. And I want people to know right now that's on this meeting, okay, and people worldwide to know that I also have worked as an independent contractor consultant. I was a field organizer, a campuser, and a signature collector. And this has been happening for several years, okay, where candidates has been caught putting dead people on the ballot, okay, fraudulent signatures, and none of these people are hold accountable. There's no consequences or penalty for them,
Mhm.
and they're not removed from the ballot, but you want to come at me for a clerical error, okay? And this is the reason what they do with the dead people on the ballot is that the Board of Election has an outdated data where all of the registered voters are. Okay, the dead people that's on the data has not been removed. It's the same data from years and years and years ago. Okay, and the candidates, they don't realize when they're cheating and they're taking the data and they're writing the people information and names in on the signatures, that, okay, the data is outdated. And that's why the dead people keep coming up.
Wow. Wow. Uh, this is really unbelievable. But anyway, okay, so I think we got a good overview of what's going on. So I'm going to move on to some of the other guests we have here.
Okay.
Yeah. Glenn, are you available?
Absolutely. Can you hear me, Curtis?
Yep, can hear you.
Great. You know, that story, like you can't make that stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember during the campaign because for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he was running as an independent. We had to go out and get signatures to get him on the ballot. And I was very much involved in that in Massachusetts. We had to get, I don't know, like 10,000. We ended up getting 16,000. And, we had issues getting people to sign for whatever reason. But we didn't, we did not encounter the same level of active, lawfare, that Rene encountered when in New York. But we knew about it. We all heard about what Rene was talking about, and it was 100% true. They hired an inside person to get falsified signatures, and they had to end up getting, they needed, I think, 47,000 ballots in New York, so they had to go out and get like another 40,000, and they did, and the rest is history. But yeah, I think this just shows me, when you listen to Rene tell that story, she understands the way things are working. And I think more accurately, she understands the way things are not working. And in order to fix it, you got to know what's broken. And it's a broken system, whether it's electoral, whether it's other community-related things, homelessness, housing. And Rene understands all that stuff. She's born. I was actually also born in Brooklyn. I grew up in Dobbs Ferry, New York, but I was born in Bay Ridge. Lived there until I was 7 years old. My grandfather was a physician. He used to carry his leather bag and go walk, do house calls. But so I love Brooklyn as well. But there's nobody that I know that loves it and knows it more than Rene. Rene, I have a question because we met during the campaign, but can you tell me a little bit about like your upbringing and some of the organizations that they have helped you along the way? I just have, I'm just curious to know about that as well.
Well, Glenn, maybe we should do that maybe towards the end because
sure.
I have the other guest. I know she wants to say what she has to say.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jerry, I think I may be pronouncing it wrong. Um, hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
It's
Uh,
Juries.
yeah,
I
how do you
cannot
pronounce it again?
speak to it's Juries.
Julie.
I
Okay,
can
Julie.
Juries.
Okay,
Okay, Curtis, I met Jaleese, okay, when she was in need of assistance. Okay, Jaleese, okay, was in the shelter. And I also advocate for my shelter people too. Okay, that's part of my vulnerable, okay, population. So you can ask Janice, how did I help her?
sure. Julie, yeah, can you tell us about that story?
Yeah, I'm here. Well, Kennedy was before my time, so I have nothing to say on
I can't hear you. Can you speak a
it.
little louder, please?
I said, Kennedy was before. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, a little bit better. Just turn the volume up if you can.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Well, Kennedy was way before my time, so I have nothing to say on that. However, um, when I met Miss Renee, I was staying in the shelter in New York. Um, I had two service animals with me at the time, and someone had let my service animals out of the cage, and so I was being asked to leave the shelter that I was at, and so I got in contact. Someone gave me Miss Renee's phone number. I got in contact with her, and she helped me get into a safe haven, actually in Queens. I called her this. Well, while I was at Queens, my son got murdered in South Carolina.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear about that.
And so I had to leave while I was in the shelter system. I went down, I dealt with what I need to deal with. I'm recently coming back. I'm back in the shelter system again. Um, and I called Miss Renee this time as well to ask her for assistance because where I was placed at, within 45 minutes of me being inside of this building, walking in, it smelled like urine. Someone had had urine thrown on them. Someone else had spit on a security officer. Um, I
Wow.
left. I went back to the intake. They told me that I had to come to this facility right here. There was no other place that I was going to be placed except for here. Um, when I came back that night, and this is supposed to be a substance abuse shelter, and mental health is what they said, which I have issues with neither of them. Um, a young lady came from the back where the rooms were at with a cup of beer in her hand. This is the situation. This is this the
Well, I'm sorry, I missed that.
environment.
What does she have in her hands?
A cup of beer, which
Okay.
means she either had to bring in a bottle or a can of beer in order to get it in the back to put it in a cup.
Okay.
So people who are trying to take the steps that need to be taken to progress from any situation that it might be, um, it's hard to do so in an environment such as that.
Yes, definitely. And what else did she do for you?
Um, at that time, well, right now she's actually put me in contact with somebody who should be helping to try to get me transferred to a place that is more suitable.
Okay.
It doesn't have this, not in this type of environment that, yes.
Excellent.
I guess you would have to experience, you would have to live in and be in that environment to know exactly what it is.
Certainly. And I think that's
And
why, yes.
Curtis, I've been fighting, okay, with the shelter system for a certain amount of years. And
Mhm.
if I win this state assembly seat, okay, one of my goals is to reform, okay, the shelter system because the shelter system has been ran like a business and they get $5,000 a month for each shelter individual.
Wow.
Meantime, we have people in there with all different types of, okay, issues that's not being addressed. So I want it to be reformed to a place where there's medical on site, okay, drug counseling on site, job readiness on site, and mental health on site to do a psych evaluation, psychosocial, okay, and Medicaid management, because people are more less to not stay in the shelters and to go out in the streets, okay, in the train stations and camped in front of stores or behind staircases, because they're being robbed, raped, and assaulted, okay, in these shelters. And if this is a safe haven to help push people towards self-sufficiency so they have options, they should not have to go in there and deal with any of that.
You're absolutely right. And I guess your opponent has not been active in addressing
My
these
opponent
issues.
is against shelters, period. My opponent doesn't want any shelters, okay, in the neighborhood. But I told him and all the rest of the elected officials, if you don't want a shelter, what is the alternative to a shelter? Do you want single room occupation? Okay, do you want halfway houses? Do you want three-quarter houses? Do you want sober houses? Okay, do you want to reopen psychiatric hospital beds for people with serious mental illness so people won't be getting stabbed and pushed off the train station? I mean, what, okay, are you going to put in place? They have nothing. They go out there every time a shelter is going to be built, and they go out there and protest about no homeless shelters, but has no other solution. And this is also a way that he tried to accumulate votes.
Wow. Wow. And no option, no other option are they proposing. It's just unbelievable. And this is important. People need to know what's really going on behind the scenes. I had no idea how bad it was until I started listening to you on these
And what they
issues.
don't realize also, Curtis, is that if you don't say no shelters, if you say no shelters in the neighborhood, and you got a good portion of people that are homeless in your neighborhood, okay, that's encampments in your neighborhood, that has drug problems, okay, that has mental health problems, and you don't address it, it's going to go out into the streets. It's going to be like Skid Row, okay, in Brooklyn. There's not
Wow.
even no community-based centers in the district. Okay, there's not even no outpatient mental health clinics in his district. No outpatient drug programs in his district.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how are you helping people?
Something
And
just
then
happened.
one of his opponents said, "Why don't we just put the homeless people on Rikers Island? Why should we put the homeless people on Rikers Island? They didn't commit a crime. It's not a crime to be homeless."
You're absolutely right. Something's happened to
Hello?
my screen. Hello?
Yeah, I think what it is with the shelters, I believe that people don't want them in the community because of the behavior that comes from them. But the behavior would not come from them if they would stick to the rules that they have set, that they have put into play. If someone is walking from the back in the room with a big cup of beer in their hand, you ask them to leave. Now
Okay.
you don't have to worry about someone being drunk and someone behaving in a way that would have someone say that they don't belong here.
Renee, here's the question I
Well,
have.
they have
What?
shelter. Wait a minute, they have security in the shelters.
Yes,
Okay, so first of all, okay, they shouldn't even be allowed to bring narcotics, alcoholic, or anything
exactly.
in the facilities.
Exactly.
Wow. So it's a real neglect in terms of following their own rules. Renee,
That,
the type of things you're proposing, uh, it's clear that there's going to be funding that will be needed and other things. What kind of things would you want to do if you do win the election?
Well, I want to reform, okay, the shelters. I want to put medical and job readiness and mental health and drug counseling and everything on site. I'll say so we can actually address, okay, the root causes of these people's problems and behaviors, okay, because everybody can't be, okay, housed the same way. Okay, some people need more external care. Okay, the one size fit all approach, okay, is not helping anybody.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a bandage. Okay, if people are coming off the streets and they have serious medical problems, maybe their type of housing is an adult home or assisted living or nursing home. A person that's coming off the streets with serious drug problems, do you really want to give that person a voucher? Okay, to go into an apartment, okay, and they haven't addressed their addiction problem, because what's going to happen is probably if they get the apartment's going to turn into a trap house. So let's work on getting them rehab, okay, or 18, 24-month drug counseling, okay, before we think about giving that type of client an apartment. And the same thing for a person with mental illness. We have to make sure that they have a psychosocial or psych evaluation, okay, Medicaid management, because and maybe their type of housing may be scatter site housing, supportive housing, micro program. Okay, you just can't just hand them a voucher either, and their mental health is not addressed, and just throw them in an apartment.
It's a
And
lot of
then, you
sense.
know, the people that's just coming in, okay, and maybe they lost their house through a fire or they lost their job or whatever. Let's help get them back in society, get them to work, okay, get them a voucher, okay, and get them housed.
Fantastic. One more thing I would like to have you respond to. I know you've won all kinds of awards, you've held all kinds of positions. Can you just summarize some of the type of awards you've received over the years, the recognition? I know you've been in the White House. Can you just give people more background, because you seem like this
Okay.
crusader, but
Well,
you've been around.
I have certificate of appreciation nominated in 2023, supportive housing tenant of the year. Okay. I have a New York State Assembly Citation Award. Okay. For distinguished, to be recognized as Distinguished Woman of the Year. I have, okay, Power Woman of Brooklyn. Okay. March 10th, 2022. Okay.
Can we see some of those awards?
Media.
Can you position the camera so we can see some of those?
Excuse me?
Can you position your camera so we can see some of your awards? I think
Okay,
you're
hold
looking
on.
at them. Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
Rene, if you can talk while you do that, we'll be
Right.
able to see
Yeah.
your camera.
Parent of the Year from Pratt College. Okay. Supportive Housing Network. Okay. Promination Award from Kevin Parker. Congressional Award from Congress. Okay. Power Woman of Brooklyn. Okay. Citation Awards. Also, again, Supportive Housing Tenant of the Year.
Fantastic. So you know what you're talking about, and your efforts have been recognized over the years.
Okay, and I was on the board, okay, for the National Coalition of Homeless for 6 years. Okay, I was also the co-chair for the policy committee for the National Coalition of Homeless, and I was also the housing chair.
Fantastic. And you also
And with
help.
the National Coalition of Homeless, we deal with homeless in all 50 states.
Wow. Wow. And you also help Bobby Kennedy with his campaign.
And
right?
I was the field organizer, okay, and canvasser, okay, in all 50 states for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Wow. So it sounds like to me, I'm convinced you're the right person for this job to clean up all this stuff that's going on. So often, societies overlook the most vulnerable. And I remember reading someplace that the true test of society is how it treats its most vulnerable. And the situation there does not seem very good.
And not only that, okay, you have NYCHA right now living with mold, okay, and lead, okay, and they're just moving them from one apartment to the next. Okay, I would also want to enforce NYCHA to do the repairs so people won't be living in unlivable condition. And I also would like to create pilot programs, because I believe that regardless if they live in the projects, they still have dreams. Their kids have dreams. Why is nobody trying to transition these people out of the projects and creating pilot programs to be first-time homeowners, or to go into Mitchell Lema co-op apartments? People are generation down, okay, from the grandmother all the way down to the kids, dying in NYCHA projects, okay, and it's like they're stuck there. Okay, I would like to bring financial literacy programs in these communities. Okay, vocational training. They can learn how to be an electrician, a plumber. Okay, because everybody don't have money for college, so they can take that trade and actually get the job and retire with a pension. These are things that I want to do, inspiring the people, build the community up, so they can have better things, and they can curve a space out in life. Okay, and have a life worth living.
Absolutely fantastic. I think you're winning this election would inspire others to try to do the same thing across the borough, and across the 5 boroughs and across the country. Kind of these privilege.
Also want to abolish, the New York Board of Election and demand the independent oversight for fair election. The New York's the current bipartisan Board of Election system is broken and no longer serves the public interest. It has become an administrative tool that protects and entrench machine-backed politicians while actively working to suppress independent grassroots voice. While traditional party candidates are permitted to spend weeks in courtroom litigating actual massive signature fraud, independent candidates are routinely targeted for removal over minor technical clerical omission. Furthermore, the board realigns on non-public, on-record hearing and systematic failure to produce transparent public minutes in a direct violation of constitutional due process and state transparency law. We can no longer trust a politically controlled agent to deliver a fair and transparent election process.
Fantastic. That
So
says
I'm
it all.
going around borough-wide collecting signatures on this petition, and we demand complete dissolution, the establishment of strictly independent, nonpartisan oversight, total transparency and accountability. It's time to take the politics out of our election and restore the power to our votes.
Amen.
Amen to that. Yeah. Well, we're both for the same frequency. One thing we got a pretty good idea, and I think the audiences are going to really appreciate what you're trying to do. Before we start to wrap up, Rene, can you tell people where they can? I know you're in the process of having your website completed. Where can people go if they want to make a donation to your campaign?
Well, they can go to Zelle and they can donate on Zelle. Okay, I'm under Rene M. Mitchell, ReneMitchell, and my email is Mitchell, Mitchell, Renee 496@gmail.com. They can do it through my email or they can do it through my phone number, which is 347-729-9081.
You said
and you also have a Facebook page too, I think, Rene,
Yes,
right?
I have Facebook, and I have LinkedIn, and I have Instagram, I have TikTok.
Fantastic. Right. Your email, you says Mitchell Rene 496 what?
@gmail.com.
Okay.
But on my email, it's spelled with 2 E's. Okay. If they, but when they go into Zelle, my name, Rene, is spelled with 1 E, Rene.
Great. Now, if they go to your email, how would they make a donation to you on your email?
Well, they would have to, when they go to Zelle, they put in my email. That's how they contact me.
So your email. Okay.
Yeah.
So when they add your email address, it's just Rene Mitchell, Mitchell Rene, right? And double E, 496@gmail.com.
Right. When you make a donation through Zelle, they put the person's name in and then the person's email.
Okay.
And that's part of the process, right?
Fantastic. So any last words, just very briefly, anything else you might want to add?
Well, the only everything that Rene was talking about to me can be summed up in 2 words: lived experience. Right. Rene has the lived experience. I'd like to hear a little bit from Rene about her own personal lived experience with homelessness and maybe some of the organizations in Brooklyn that were so beneficial for her.
Yeah,
if you have time, Curtis.
Yeah, it's about time to wrap up. But Rene, if you want to summarize some of that, or you want to leave it as it is.
Well, 30-something years ago, I was homeless with my child. Okay, and I went through supportive housing, ICL, and I was able to push myself towards self-sufficiency and create a life for me and my child. But also in my younger days and younger years, when I was out there and I was going in the wrong direction, Lubavitch, Jewish organization, Lubavitch Jewish Women's, have also, mentored me, and I remember they even came into the prison, to support me. I support the Jewish, okay, organization. I support all of the organizations, okay, but what on the ground, okay, that's collapsing around us. And, you know, all nationalities in District 45, okay, be it Muslim, Jewish, Mexican, Black, okay, Puerto Rican. I support anybody that needs help and need to be pushed towards some type of self-sufficiency so that they have options.
Fantastic. 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 Okay, well, I want to thank all of you for taking time to be here. Renee, best of luck, and I'll do